don't think I took the path of least resistance to get to this pond.
I'm Wayne with WJP Outdoors, and we are in the woods. So today we are at the Paul and Becky Kelly Family Natural Wilderness Area. This is a new public piece of ground that the family donated to the County Conservation Board, and so I think it's only been access to the public maybe here in the last year and a half. So we are hiking in to this area, and we've just entered into an open meadow. So I came back to this property back in January and did a little bit of shed hunting and a trail run, and I didn't find anything, but I was only able to access a part of this ground because there's a creek that runs through the property, and at that time they didn't have any trails established to cross the creek. I understand that they in the future they're looking at building a bridge and such, but today we're just going to bushwhack our way in through the timber, and pretty excited about it because we have some elevation, able to hike up the hills and get into this piece of property. So one of the cool things about this property is when I was doing some research, I pulled it up on Google Earth, and there is a very unique shaped body of water on the southeast side of the property. It actually resembles kind of a broadhead for your arrow, and it looks like there might be a island in the middle of it. So pretty cool deal. I did bring some fishing gear, and so if it is something that's possible to pull some fish out of, that is what we will do. All right, so the trails that I was in back in January have really overgrown. They haven't been maintained, which is cool. I liked it to be untouched anyway while we're exploring it. Pretty cool wildflowers in here as well. Because this piece of property was privately held for many years, there is some pretty old growth oaks in here and maples, and so I think we'll see some pretty large trees in here. There's one back up in there, you can see. Like we are coming upon the creek bottom here. All right. Pretty steep banks, so we're gonna have to figure out how to get across. I have no idea how deep this is. It might be fishable. There's actually some moving water in here. I might throw a line in here too. There we go. I would think there might be something. If there is anything in here, it would be hanging out in that shade of those roots on the bank there. I'm just not sure that this creek gets a lot of flow.
have any fish in here. Oh, well, we got the stuff out. And just as well cast upstream, huh? I think it's pretty shallow in there. Kind of a deep pool right here. Don't know if anything's sitting in there or not. It's too bad it's not a trout stream, because that would be ideal. So one of my goals in the future is to try fly fishing. I have yet to do that, but it has been on my mind for a while, and I just need to commit and buy a kit to get started with it. Something about the way that whole rig is set up looks very peaceful. All right. Well, it was worth a shot anyway. This running water here, some pools. I don't know. Just don't think that this has enough flow on it. Why not? One more cast up. So I think to get where I want to go, I think I can cross some of these rocks here and get up into that bank. I fully expected to get wet today, so I'm okay with getting my shoes wet. As long as you go in with the mindset that you're going to get wet, then it's no big deal. But if you go into the mindset and that you don't want to get wet and you get wet, then it's a whole different ordeal. Well, that was fun. Only hit a couple muddy spots right at the end. Take you along for the journey this time. We might have to come back down a different way. Maybe right there. Would have been better. All right. Good thing I tied up the shoes real tight, because I might really want to take my shoe with it. Try to create some more surface area. That log is rotted. See if that helps any. Just kind of using the plants on the bank here to help get some leverage, and without getting into poison ivy. Oh. All right, we are officially across. All right, that was fun. We officially got across the creek. Now we got some elevation to climb. If you can take a look at that, we need to get up there through those tall weeds and get some bearings underneath the trees. It should clear up a little bit. There's something to be said about exploring a new area. Find it a little bit exhilarating because it's new, not familiar with it. And you can definitely tell there hasn't been too many people back in here, at least where I'm at right now. Untouched. All right, getting back to the shade. It's getting hot. It's in the afternoon already. I did some chores in the yard this morning before it got hot, knowing that I would spend part of the day in the shade out here. There we go. That feels better already. All right. So now, what do we find here? Just a piece of orange. Must have been from a strap. Huh. Interesting. We're finally getting up to an area. I know there's another ravine right down over here. We are going to get back up in here. Just find a nice shady spot for a second and get our bearings. Alright. I think what I want to do is get right over in there in that shady area. I was hoping to find a game trail back in here to follow, make it a little bit easier, but haven't come across a strong one yet. I'm just kind of making my way to the south here. Definitely should have brought the thermocell. I am stirring up the mosquitoes. All right, it looks like we found a trail. All right, look at that. Found some mushrooms. Several of them. All right, make some headway. I think I found a pretty decent trail. There's another ravine right down over here. No water in it. Yeah, we have a decent trail. Got to keep moving though. Cool. All right, so we found a little bit of a game trail. Either game trail or water runoff trail. And that steep hill right next to this big oak tree. And that's been there a while. Alright, so the creek we just crossed is way down there. Up in the shade, which is much better. Wow, this is actually
Pretty cool, untouched area. Stirring up all the mosquitoes, that's for sure. Alright, let's see if we can even get a signal out here just to get a bearings of where we're at. Alright, got signal, that's good. Alright, I can see on Google Maps where I've crossed the creek. If I go straight south, I'll run into a field. Wow, the vast majority of the woodland property is that way. And given the time of day and I think definitely coming back here in the fall for hunting season would be well worth it. There's a lot of cover in here, and this being a new public piece, not sure how many new people would have ventured way back in here, but it might be worth it. Alright, tell you what we'll do, we'll head straight south, hit that field, then we're going to head east. And I think that's going to hit that body of water. There's just a lot of ravines and elevation over here that I don't think I have enough time to explore and hit that little water formation over there. So we're going to do that. Alright, we are regrouped and ready to head into this bramble. I think, with any luck, on the other side of this is the pond, according to the map. So we're going to make our way through there. It's going to be rough. I think I see a path. What's funny about this pond is I have no idea. It could be completely scummed over. It could just be a wetland area for all I know. And just full of frogs. But it's worth the adventure. Try to get back in here. Alright, well, no pond yet, but I found the fence line. Alright, so that tells me I need to head straight east. And it should take us to that pond. Let's give it a shot. Definitely easier to navigate. Alright, back in the brambles. Pretty cool. Wildflower. I have no idea what it is. Some more mushrooms down there. Don't think I took the path of least resistance to get to this pond. I'm gonna go through this little short timber. Maybe we'll have better luck. Out in the open meadow again. I am just totally meandering in a general direction. Going by gut instinct at this point. I like those walnuts. Healthy. Oh, deer bed. That's a good sign. Alright. Making our way down here.
disadvantage of hunting way up here is the distance of which you have to carry a deer out, which sometimes that's part of the fun too, though. Alright, we're gonna hang out under this walnut tree for a little bit, cool off, take a drink, and get our bearings. Well, I'm pretty sure these mosquitoes have not seen the likes of man yet, because they are awfully friendly. All right, let's take a look, see where we are at. All right, we are still headed in the right direction. Water of that. Curious if there's any fish in it. Maybe it's somebody's secret fishing spot, but it'll be well worth the hike, I'm sure, when we get there. All right. Just give you an idea, that blue dot is where we are at. The red dot is where we're headed. All right. Ted, should have brought my bug net. You gotta keep moving, otherwise they will attack you like crazy. All right, we are now getting closer, I think. About bushwhacking is areas you think are the easiest to get through probably are not. All right, another little clearing. Man, we've got to be getting close. Elevation drops off again. That's a good sign, right? All right, I'm trying to find another game trail. Here we go. All right. Somewhat of a game trail. Down in some pines. Very cool. Something about the peacefulness of an old cedar grove. A dead cedar grove. Wow. I think we gotta get right over through there. You can get in the flow of where the branches, the direction is going. Usually you can get through. All right, I definitely see a clearing up here now. I think this is our pond, lake, whatever it is. Anybody know the difference between a large pond and a small lake? What's the threshold of that? Oh yeah, here we go. Beautiful meadow. Wow, wide open. We just came from way up there. But I think this is it. Oh, it looks like there is an island in the middle of that, with some mature trees in there. All right, another deer bed. Cool, that's a good sign. Oh, I'm kind of excited about this. This is a little bit bigger than I anticipated.
looks like. Man, wouldn't it be cool to find a fishing spot that has rarely seen anyone at it? Either that, I'm walking right into a wetland area. I can't quite tell. I don't see water yet. This does seem to be a low-lying area. Oh, no, I see water. Okay. Good, good, good. There for a minute, I thought this was just going to be a wetland area. It's pretty dry under my feet. Oh, wow. So this looks pretty dang cool. There you can see, walking through here, tall grass. Oh yeah. Looks like we got a good body of water here too. It's even better. Alright. Alright. Another deer bed right there. Look at that. Wow. A hidden pond. With an island in the middle of it. Wow, that looks bassy. Looks real bassy. I'm so glad I brought the fishing pole. If I made it all this way to check it out without the fishing pole, I would have been a little upset. Okay, I'm gonna walk around this corner. So that's the island right there, you can see. And this is on the south side of the pond, and it just kind of angles off that way. That picture I showed you, like I said, it looks like a broadhead of an arrow. I think if we also go over here, we'll see the other side of it. Yep. Oh, this is so much fun. I love adventures like this. I love it because I know there isn't that many people that make bushwhack way back here to this. What would even make it better is if we pull out some big fish out of here. So that is going to be our next goal. Alright, good news is I just saw a fish jump, so I'm positive that there are fish in here. So I don't know. I'm going to start out with the jig just because I have it on there and I'm not patient. Alright. It's fairly straight. Alright. Start out with the jig. That doesn't produce anything. Well, I don't want to jinx it. Good access, which tells me the water level is pretty high, relatively. Well, the good thing is the mosquitoes are much better out here, or at least non-existent. Out here in the wind. Alright, here is my hike-in box. Question is, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Alright, I think what I will try first
is this flopper. I think with the heat like it is, maybe we ought to do some top water, see if anything will bite on that. I think I got it finally. Had a hell of a time getting that on there. Alright. Close that up. Let's see what a little top water will do. I think what we'll do, load up. We will walk the perimeter. I think it looks like a little dike all the way along there. Should be able to get up along there and cast from there too. Alright, made it to the other side. Wearing me out. Got pretty sloshy down there on the corner. It was a hell of a workout. Alright, let's try this from this angle. I keep hearing, I think it's fish jumping. Don't know if it's frogs hopping in or what, but can't quite tell. Property line. A lot of deer beds up here in this dike too. Alright, let's try this spot here. This looks fishy, doesn't it? Alright, let's try it. Oh yeah, right in the shade of that tree. It looks pretty deep out there. I tell you what, the shade of that tree on that island, that'd be a great spot to hang a hammock. Just camp under there. If their fish were biting, clear a spot for a fire, that'd be perfect. That's the kind of adventure I like to do. Gotta pull back on that one, that would have gone right into that tree. Tons of deer beds in here. See that bean field? Must have got that planted late. Alright, we're almost to the tip. Maybe this is the deepest part. This is where the fish are hanging out. God, nice to pull one out of here. Alright, we'll try this one again. A little Mepps Anglia 3, made in France. Cool, we're going French. This worked here a few weeks ago, so try it again. Oh, just snag that stick. Bigger stick than I thought it was. Oh, there we go. Well, we were on an unsuccessful mission at that pond, and we're gonna make our way back to the truck. I think we'll take a little bit shorter route. I think I've identified one on the map. Still gonna have to cross that creek at some point, but maybe it won't be as steep of a bank. Right now I'm just walking through a whole undergrowth of poison ivy, so got that going for us. We're dealing with here. Alright, through the poison ivy. Now we're in the riverbank, I think. Gotta pay attention. The creek bank, I mean. Yeah, there we go. Huh, I think if I can make my way up, that bank is a lot steeper than I thought. It's a beautiful creek bottom down here. Nice and shaded, a little meandering stream. Alright, I got everything in the dry bag. Getting ready to cross this stream here. Hopefully I can use the logs that are in there as some handholds, as to not sink in the mud. But put everything in the dry bag, and I'm going to put you in there too. We'll see you on the other side. Alright, that wasn't so bad. Alright, so at this location we didn't have any luck, but we had a great time. We got out, explored the area. We'll definitely be coming back to explore the rest of the property, but at least in the back of my mind, that pond isn't going to be bothering me to know if there's fish in there or not. I'm going to clear it, no. But we had a heck of a time. Appreciate you watching. If you like this kind of content, hit like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And always remember to make every outing an adventure, and we'll see you in the next.